Hey, everybody out there, you're tuned in to 91.8 The Fan. You're in my corner, and I have count them, three special guests for the price of one. Would you guys like to introduce yourself to the fans, whether it's alphabetical order or whoever talks first?
Well, I
Jennifer
guess I'll start.
Toby.
Oh, there you go. Alan Toby.
John Johnson. And
And
we
we
are
are-
the department heads and assistant department heads for tabletop gaming at Youmacon.
And Midwest Media Expo.
Fantastic. I mean, we've obviously been big supporters for Youmacon. We've gone out for 4 years. It's a very fun, amazing convention, and it seems like it just keeps growing year after year, which is really exciting.
Yeah, we average about 1,000 to 3,000 attendance growth every year.
Yeah, no, that's very amazing. So congratulations on that, and for the entire team. So for everybody out there, can you explain a little bit what goes into your tabletop section?
Well, absolutely. Jen, I'll take this one if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
The reason I'm kind of jumping in here is because I'm the one who actually is in charge of the library. We have a library right now of over 500 games. Pretty much everything that you've ever seen on Will Wheaton's Tabletop or have gotten high ratings at Gen Con or Origins, we've added to our library, and we curate it, meaning that we look to see what's popular and we pull out the things that aren't being played after a couple years. We've been doing this for a while now, and we've actually been able to collect information on attendees on what games they're playing and what's popular. And so we'll add anything new every year, and then we'll kind of remove the things that no one is touching after a couple years. Usually then at that point, we'll get someone who comes up and asks for that game.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, we've been working on bringing in some of the classics though too. So
I mean, it's very much like when you collect video games, right? Like when you collect physical copies, as soon as you trade it in, you're like, man, now I really want to play that game. Where is it? Oh, I traded
Exactly.
it in.
exactly.
Well, for a great example, one of the most popular games we have, Betrayal on the House on the Hill, which is in its third printing, has never produced an expansion till this year. They have an expansion coming out right before Youmacon. We've already pre-ordered 2 copies of the expansion because we ended up adding more copies of the original game to our library because it was so popular.
So at least you'll be prepared for the people who are looking for it. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, in fact, there's a lot of games that are actually coming out within the first couple weeks of November that we had actually planned to get. Some of the items are coming in beforehand, and some will be coming right after the convention, unfortunately.
Well,
But it just means... Oh, go ahead.
No,
I'm
you're
sorry.
fine. Can you talk about some of the new additions to your library for this year?
Sure. Everything that's been posted up that's going to be on Will Wheaton's Tabletop this year, we've already pre-ordered. Right now I'm looking at Schmovie, which is Fuse. We just added in... I have to go look. Secret Hitler, Mystic Veil, let's see what else. Pandemic Cthulhu, Space Standy, Galactic Deck Building Game. We recently added in Power Grid, Imperial Assault, a new version of Jenga. It's really hard to keep listing them because, like I said, there's 500 plus. Right now we're at tote number 34, and we use everything we store in 72-gallon totes. And a couple games won't even fit in totes, like Ogre or Fortune and Glory.
Life-size Jenga.
Life-size Jenga.
Oh, that sounds dangerous.
Well, we have...
Yeah, one of
Jenga
those.
with 2x4s.
Yep. And the scariest version we ever did is we did that version of Jenga. There's a new role-playing game called Dread, which uses Jenga as part of the game. Last year at Youmacon, we used the life-size Jenga for that RPG. So literally there was real fear when that tower was going to come down, because in the game, if you knock the Jenga tower down, your character dies. So they were playing the game, running the role-playing game with the tower literally in fear of it falling on them,
Tower starts off at 3 foot tall.
and goes up to 5 feet.
Oh, geez, that's pretty terrifying.
And
What
it's
happens when you can't reach the top?
They had to climb up on a chair.
Fair enough.
Eh.
So for the fans, I think it would be good if they understood like how you guys got involved with Youmacon and kind of your backstory with the convention and how you ended up being a part of this department.
Well, that's a story for Jennifer to tell, because she's the one who caused us to get involved.
Yeah, I've been friends with the con chair for many, many years. So in Youmcon's second year, I went to see him and went to the con, and just happened, to say, "Hey, I see that you have tabletop gaming." He goes, "Yeah." I said, "So where is it?" And he points to a room where there's a table and 4 arcade games. And I said, "So where's tabletop?" He goes, "Right there." I said, "No, that's the table where they do all the room party signs. Where's tabletop?" I have since learned not to open my mouth, because that was year 2. Year 3, I wound up in charge of tabletop gaming, and have been since year 3. So.
And how many years is that, if you don't mind me asking?
Youmacon is now in their 12th year, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been there for 9 years out of the 12.
Fantastic.
This will be our 9th year. So.
And what about everybody else? Because I feel like I interrupted somebody else. The fun part of having multiple people interviews.
Alan has been with me since year 3. So.
Yep.
I'm the latest addition to the group because I came in with another convention called not Midwest Media, World Steam Expo, and haven't left yet.
They just stuck you in the back room and said, "Okay, we'll come back for you later."
I'm actually tote number 32.
Fair enough.
Yeah, John actually came to us, actually as one of our staffers and a demo person. And he wanted to become more involved, and we said, "Are you sure?" And then we wouldn't let him answer. We just said, "Okay, here, do this." And we won't let him go.
He's learned the secret of watch what you say, just like I did in year 2.
It seems like a reoccurring thing. So guys,
if you're not careful, you'll wind up being part of the crew.
Yeah, at Youmacon, watch what you say.
Yeah, but it's a fun family to be part of. So
yeah, no, there's a lot of really amazing people. A lot of my staff who tend to go, they come back and they say that they made a lot of friends, not just with fans but with the staff. Everyone is so welcoming and generous, and it's always a very wonderful environment for us to be in. So, that's the kind of vibe we get off of it. So I'm not sure, if it's the same for you guys, but that's kind of how we feel as a collective.
yeah, we're lucky enough to say our department actually has the youngest staff member. So.
Oh, fantastic.
He's been on staff since he was 1 month old.
That's so cute. So is he like a little mascot, or what does he do around the department?
He kind of has become Youmacon's mascot. In the early years, there was a game called Youmacards to get people to go to different areas of the con. It was like a collectible card game. So you would collect the cards by going to different events around the con. And when our youngest staff member, who happens to be our son, was 2, he had a card that says youngest staff member. Now, all the documents for the con say to be on staff, you have to be 18 years old. So everyone's looking for an 18-year-old, and it's actually a 2-year-old who had the card.
Well, hopefully people found them eventually.
Yeah. It took till opening ceremonies for people to catch on that, wait a second, here's this 2-year-old who's got a staff badge.
That's
And as
really
soon as
cute.
that caught on, all his cards were gone.
Well,
We actually have that game as part of our library
oh,
that
fantastic.
people can come and play.
Well, for the fans out there that want to know a little bit more about Youmacon and the tabletop section for this year, stay tuned because we're going to take a very short break. So keep your eyes peeled to 918thefan.com and your ears tuned to 91.8 The Fan, where we play everything you want and nothing you don't.
In a world full of boredom and mean people, one man is our only hope to save it. That man is Crows.
Oh? Sorry, I found a new annoying noise to do. What were you saying?
He will need to gather some of the most respected names in anime and video games to bring forth an event of epic proportions. See Steve Bloom, Johnny Young Bosch, DC Douglas, and Ian Sinclair. Also starring Team 4-Star, Patrick Seitz, Caitlin Glass, Random Gibberish, and 91.8 The Fan. Star in the most exciting event of the year. This October 30th to November 2nd. Get ready to get your nerd on. Youmacon 2014.
I will do my best to make this con great, and nothing will stop me. Oh, a Power Ranger marathon! A full 700 episodes worth! Woohoo!
We're doomed.
Wait, why are they starting with Mystic Force? No!
This is Bill Ratner, the voice of Flint in G.I. Joe and Transformers, and Donello Dina in Mass Effect 1, 2, 3, and a goofy radio voice in Grand Theft Auto 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're listening to 91.8, The Fan.
Hey everybody out there, you're still tuned to 91.8 The Fan. My special guests are still here, alive and breathing. And we were talking a little bit behind the scenes about, how you guys have been working with other conventions as well, and not just Youmacon in terms of tabletop.
Yeah, we've been working with Midwest Media Expo for the last couple of years since it's formed. And over the last year, we've worked with other conventions like MatsuriCon, bringing our library out there one year, or bringing just some of our staff to help them run their own game room. One of the goals that we've kind of founded a company on is the idea of helping other conventions do game rooms, whether it's bringing our library out and our staff, bringing our staff out to assist them, and kind of show people the ropes of how to run your own game room.
And what are some of the things that you feel, helping other conventions that you've seen happen a lot, that you feel other conventions should probably work on, or should look into more?
Well, customer service is always the big thing. I mean, and even I talk to my staff about that. Interact with the guests, interact with people. There's other companies out there who have libraries like ours, and they'll bring them out, and they'll just sit there, and people will come up and ask about a game, and the person running the library will have no idea. And that's it. They just sit there. They don't do anything else. What we do is we run game days with our own staff. We'll pull new games out. We'll try to teach our own staff the games. And so when people come up and say, I'm looking for a game, we can turn around and say, well, how many players do you have? How long do you have? Here's a range of game. What styles do you like? What categories? Do you like sci-fi? Do you like deck building? Do you like card games? Board games? Do you like miniatures? We can run through and give them different options. And if I have enough staff present at some of these events, we'll actually sit down with them and play the game. If me and my buddy come up and say, we want to play a game of Munchkin, and I have enough staff, you really need 3 people or more to play Munchkin. So one of our staff will step in and say, here, I'll show you how to play, and I'll play with you guys. We've actually started doing things like little signs that we'll put on our game tables that people can flip to say, like, I need another player, or I'm looking for a GM, so that if they're trying to get together with other people to play games, we can help direct them.
That's really fantastic. I mean, from a personal point of view, I love playing board games, like which myself, but my collection is very small and no one wants to play with me. It's like, hey, I got Monopoly, I got Jenga, I got Boss Monster. Boss Monster is really fun. You want to play Boss Monster? And nobody knows like what I'm talking about, so I need more friends who are into that.
Boss Monster 1, Boss Monster 2. We have multiple copies of both because it's it's a great game. Period.
It's fantastic. I wish there were more games like it. So I guess perhaps to talk a little bit about your expertise, what sort of similar games would you recommend for someone looking for something like Boss Monster?
Well, Exploding Kittens. If you have not played that, there's a new expansion that's coming out of it. Yep, the Not Safe for Work and the Safe for Work version. In fact, that's coming out with an expansion in October. Dungeon Explorer is a good one. It's similar to Boss Monster in terms of Dungeon Explorer, but you literally have to throw dice. Instead of rolling the dice, you actually have to do trick shots with the dice, which is good and bad, as long as you have enough room and people are going after the dice when they miss. Super Dungeon Explorer, if you like Gauntlet, that's a real popular one. Netherstorm, the DC deck building games are really popular. And there's a lot of different versions of that too. Not to mention that you have the Marvel deck building game, which also has Aliens and what was
Red
the new
Dragon
one?
Inn.
Well, Red Dragon Inn. That's a really good one. And it can be fast too. You can pick that up within 10 minutes of learning how to play the game, and games can run about a half hour depending on how many people you have.
And then when you don't want to play something competitive, we do have games like Legendary, which is that Marvel deck builder. We've also got Sentinels of the Multiverse and quite a few other games in that same area. And then if you want to get away from card games, we've got, like Alan was mentioning earlier, we have Fuse, which is this fantastic timed co-op game.
That sounds a lot of fun, and you can see just from this short conversation how knowledgeable you guys are in terms of tabletop. So I think the fans and the visitors to Youmacon really appreciate that. And I believe you guys stated off air, both off air and on air, that you help other conventions. Are you looking to help conventions that are outside of your area?
Well, we've journeyed to MitsuriCon, which is in Columbus. We've been in talks with BronyCon and Grand Rapids Convention in the past. We haven't locked anything down for this year yet, but we're absolutely looking to travel as long as it can be affordable. When we bring out our entire library, I have to rent a U-Haul. So distance plays a factor in our costs. But we can always come one or two. We've been doing local events lately, like the Auburn Hills Public Library, Light the Night, which is actually coming up in a couple weeks. We're going to be out there, and we bring about 2 to 4 totes out. And for us, we consider like the Jenga a tote because it almost takes up as enough room as a tote. And we'll come to these events and bring games and entertain the kids during the Light the Night festival, so that there's something to do before they do the long walk to raise money for charity. We've done the same thing at the West Bloomfield Relay for Life. And then last year at the Auburn Hills Public Library, we did the Game at Your Public Library event that they had.
And then to bring up other conventions, I mean, we have worked not necessarily with the library, but as staff members or as game masters for things like Youmacon, Michicon, Mega XP.
So if someone who works for a convention or is looking for advice or something along those lines, how would they get a hold of you guys to, utilize your expertise?
Well, we have a Facebook group called Tabletop Gaming Library. We also have a website. John, you have it as I think it's tabletopgaminglibrary.com.
Yes, that is correct. And you can also direct email us. You can email me at johnjohnson@tabletopgaminglibrary.com. You can email Alan at alantoby at tabletopgaminglibrary.com. And we're usually pretty good about answering the emails.
I leave it up to them to answer the emails because I'm usually a little busy running around.
No, that's totally cool, and I think everyone's really just looking forward to Youmacon and seeing you guys at the show and seeing the new games that are being added and everything else. So I just think our fans, and I can see from our chat that our listeners are pretty excited. So is there anything else you'd like to tell the listeners out there? Any words of wisdom? Anything we possibly didn't touch on?
Well, I wanted to mention on Youmacon, we've already posted our schedule up on Youmacon's website and in our Facebook group. We have 226 events scheduled right now. That includes all of the tournaments that we have set for Force of Will, Magic the Gathering. We have tons of scheduled events. We have our 500 plus game library that's free to play as part of the convention. We're going to have a massive raffle this year with a lot of prizes supplied by AEG, Palladium, and a bunch of other companies. We've actually have direct companies coming in this year. AEG, Obscure Reference Games, MOB Mayhem, Double Exposure. They're all coming in with dedicated tables and staffers. We've actually expanded our room this year. Last year we were 30,000 square feet at Kobo. This year we're 33,000 square feet at Kobo. We've taken up the entire 4th floor of Kobo. So we're at 410, 420, and 430. And if you find us, we have ribbons that we're going to be handing out to prove that we exist, because we keep moving and everyone keeps losing us. And this year we're going to be selling t-shirts. Everyone keeps asking for our logo. So this year we've done a small run of t-shirts that people can purchase, and all the money that we do for the raffle, for the t-shirt sales that we do, even the coloring station we're going to have this year, all of that, patches. And our patches, all go back into the room itself. So we use that money that we gather, and there's operating costs that we have throughout the year. There's money that we need to buy more games. We have that available. Because what really hurts us is we spend our money throughout the year selecting games, and then come November, all the new games come out, and we don't have the money to get them right away. So sometimes we have to literally pick them up at con. We're dealing with local vendors this year. We've brought in more vendors this year than we had last year. So we have Gamers Gauntlet, Future Wars, and we also have
Elderwood Academy.
Thank you. Elderwood Academy, which literally signed up 7 days before the deadline. But they're coming out, and they're going to have their custom boxes and stuff, and materials. They're out of Ann Arbor, so we've been dealing a lot with local companies this year. L90 is joining us again, and they just launched their Kickstarter.
Actually, they just funded their Kickstarter. It's successfully funded.
And part of that, they've been coming out to our convention and working with us, help them get funded.
Yeah, we've had a couple times where we've helped out some of the Kickstarters.
In fact, MOB Mayhem, I believe, will be launching their Kickstarter around the same time, too. And they were out last year in really the rough early stages of the game, but they were to take that information back, and this year they're coming and getting ready to Kickstarter.
So it's really nice to hear that you guys are, helping the community as well. So I think that's really touching for a lot of people who are, heavily involved with this sort of thing.
We're in talks right now with a local business, and if everything works out, we may actually be doing sponsored game nights at a local business. But,
exciting!
We haven't got anything signed yet, but if it works, then we may be able to bring portions of the library out and have game days that the public can come join us.
And now you guys will probably announce that on your website and Facebook group, correct?
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right, so make sure everybody out there to follow that. And before we say bye to you, because our time is running short, we always ask if you guys have any words of wisdom, dating advice, predictions for the end of the world, anything else you'd like to say to the fans?
Play hard and have fun.
Well, play games and have fun.
Games and have fun.
Which is our motto.
Yes. Both work.
As far as the end of the world, Cthulhu is going to take over.
That's true. That's true. We are all minions of Cthulhu in our own minds. So.
Well, hopefully for the fans out there that haven't been eaten by Cthulhu, you can check into the rest of this interview in case you missed any of it on our website within the next few days. So make sure to keep your eyes peeled to 918thefan.com and your ears tuned to 91.8 The Fan. And thank you so much for our special guests for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Make sure to keep it tuned to your favorite station where we play everything you want and nothing you don't.